Uh, I'm looking at WWF Magazine from April of 1993. Uh, I bought this off eBay, but I had this magazine when I was a kid. This originally came out when I was in sixth grade, I guess about 25 years ago. Uh, I remember this magazine because it was one of the first ones that I had bought. I was pretty big into the WWF at that time. Um, so I just thought it would be fun to look back at the magazine 25 years later. Kind of an ad for the Hasbro action figures. The thing about these figures, at least towards the last couple years of Hasbro making them, was that by the time the figure would come out, like a lot of these guys were gone. Like they weren't even in the WWF anymore. Their figures, like Ric Flair was gone for a while by the time his came out. And then like Nails, he was gone. And I think a lot of these guys were already gone at the time this was released. But I remember when I was a kid, it was real exciting to see the advertisement for all the toys. Got Doink, Tatanka. This was just after Monday Night Raw had just began. Got an ad for the hotline. Macho Man foam finger. The Macho Man workout machine. As seen on TV. It's, Bobby the Brain Heenan. What's he talking about? I think he's bragging about how great Lex Luger is in this column. This is the subscription page. 12 issues for $20. That's pretty good. This was Beefcake had come back and fought the $1 Million Man. They're setting up the angle for WrestleMania for Hogan to come back. It's, Sensational Sherry. And here is your Columbia House ad. This was how a lot of people kickstarted their CD collection, was by signing up for these things. It's a lot of metal. So this was in 93. There's some wrap. A little separate wrap box. But most of the stuff they're advertising in here looks metal. There's Alice in Chains. A lot of the grunge bands, they really did kind of sneak in with the metal bands when all that happened. Soundgarden and Guns N' Roses. So this is a little box of the pop hits, pop albums. And other than that, most of this is all metal. How did this work? Eight CDs for 1 cent, and then you had to buy some more CDs, and the ones you had to pay for would be like super expensive. I'm not really into the Steiner Brothers. I'm gonna skip them. This is the Royal Rumble results from the 93 Royal. see Bob Backlund and Ric Flair in the ring together very much. Huh? Let me see. Tito and Repo Man, and I think that's Owen Hart and Rick Martel. There's Ric Flair and Backlund and Virgil and one of the Nasty Boys. I think Jerry Lawler made his one of his early WWF appearances at that Royal Rumble. And they introduced Giant Gonzalez. Tatanka and IRS. Look at Yoko. Yoko stares off with Earthquake. There's Randy Savage with his elbow drop. And Bret versus Razor for the title. There's the classic Winged Eagle belt. That was the best version of the championship belt. There it is. Bret is the greatest champion. Shawn Michaels versus Marty Jannetty. And they had Sherry involved. I think this Royal Rumble was their first match after the Rockers split up. And they introduced Lex Luger at the Royal Rumble. Steiner Brothers versus the Beverly Brothers. Order of entry. See. Flair, Backlund, Papa Shango, $1 Million Man, Knobs, Virgil, Lawler, Max Moon, Tenryu, Perfect, Skinner, Coco Beware, Samu, The Berserker, The Undertaker, Terry Taylor, Damien, Demento, IRS, Tatanka, Sags, Typhoon, Fatu, Earthquake, Carlos Colon, Tito Santana, Rick Martel, Yoko, Owen Hart, Repo Man, and Macho Man. And Yoko won by last eliminating Randy Savage. They had Boss Man versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Trivia. There's Hacksaw. WrestleMania 9 merchandise. $29.95 for the WrestleMania 9 watch. This was before the internet. So to order stuff, you had to fill out forms and wait like 8 weeks for it to come in the mail. WrestleMania 9 preview. Got Bret versus Yoko for the title. Shawn versus Tatanka for the Intercontinental title. Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. Crush versus Doink. Perfect versus Lex Luger. Steiners versus the Head Shrinkers. There's an article about Crush's feud with Doink. And that's a cool WrestleMania 9 poster. Whenever I've been to Caesar's Palace a few times, and I always still think about WrestleMania 9 being there. IcoPro. Some stuff about Shawn Michaels' feud with Tatanka. Just the video games. See what 1993 you had WrestleMania for Genesis, Super Nintendo. Steel Cage Challenge for regular Nintendo, Superstars 2 for Game Boy. Macho Man and Warrior. This is an interesting time in video game history. The NES was still going strong, but you had the Super Nintendo and Genesis out as well. Some stuff about the Nasty Boys. It's Terry Taylor. This is when he came back and he wasn't the Red Rooster anymore, but I don't think he lasted very long. For the shows on USA. This was me. I tried to work the crossword puzzle, but I couldn't finish it. That's where they're giving the answers to the previous month's crossword. It's an advertisement for Mr. Perfect Spotlight magazine. That's a Brain from the first Monday Night Raw. And they got the advertisement for WrestleMania on video cassette. This was like before it even had happened. That's a pretty awesome pose of Bret right there. I like the winged eagle belt. Awesome ring attire. And that. There you go. T2 for Genesis. That's a WWF Magazine from April of 1993.